Good day. Before we conduct an experiment, we need to know what is heat conduction. Heat conduction is the movement of heat from one object to another object that has different temperature when they are touching each other. For example, we can warm our hand by touching hot water bottles. When the cold hand touching the hot water bottle, heat flows from the hotter object, that is hot water bottle, to the colder one, which is our hand. So now we can start our experiment. These are the apparatus that we are going to use for this experiment. Firstly, safety pin, next lighter, metal spoon and candle. The steps for the experiment are: firstly, we melt the wax of the candle on a spoon to stick the safety pin to it. Then we repeat the step 1 for the next 3 safety pins. Then place the end of the spoon on the flame. Lastly, the safety pin drop down one by one. From the experiment that we observe, the spoon starts to heat it up. The safety pin that closest to the flame is dropped down. Next, subsequently, the other safety pins start to fall down one by one. After the pins falls, heat from the candle was transferred to the spoon particles up to the last pin. Lastly, this is how heat transfer occurs through the process of conduction. In conclusion, conduction is the process by which heat energy is transmitted through collisions between neighboring atoms or molecules. The rate of energy transfer by conduction is higher when there is a large temperature difference between the substances that are in contact.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Nandini Malagan. Let's look at a simple activity to observe convection in action. Heat is a form of energy that gets transferred by various methods such as conduction, convection, and radiation. In liquid, the heat transfer takes place by convection. You need 2 glasses, some color, hot and cold water. Take hot water in a glass and add some color to it. Take cold water in another glass and place the CD on this glass as a lid. Now carefully invert the cold glass on the glass containing hot water with color. The hole in the CD allows hot water to rise up as seen by the movement of color water. Hot water is less dense than cold water than those rise up in the fluid or through transferring the heat bit. This form of heat transfer, called convection, happens in all fluid and is due to actual movement of fluid. If you invert the position of glasses, that is, the lower glass contain cold water and the top glass contain hot color water. You will notice that the color do not mix as color. Hot water is less dense than cold water and does not sink in cold water. This experiment demonstrates convection as a mode of heat transfer in fluids and also show how to convection only take place in upwards direction. We hope you enjoy this experiment. Thank you.
Radiation is the emission or transmission of energy in the form of waves or particles through space or through a material medium. This energy has an electric field and a magnetic field associated with it and has wave-like properties. In radiation, the object does not need to be in direct contact with one another to transmit heat. Changes on color, surface orientation, and shapes are some of the surface properties on which radiation depends greatly. Apparatus that were used in this experiment were stove and green chili. Firstly, the knob of the stove was turned on. Then, a green chili was placed next to the stove. We also turned the flame of the stove higher in order to increase the heat source. The chili was left near to the stove for some time. As the time passes, we notice some changes in the shape of the chili. The color changes on the chili was visible too. As the chili changes color from green to brown to deeper brown by time changes, we decided to remove the chili. We noticed although the heat received by the chili was indirectly, the temperature of the chili was hot. The color changes were clear too. Then we switch off the stove, and here is the result. As in this experiment, there are 4 observations. Firstly, the chili became hotter as the time increases. Secondly, the size of the chili also changes along with the time. Next, the chili changes color from green to brown. Lastly, the skin of the chili shrinks due to the heat. And here are the results of the experiment. In conclusion, radiation alludes to the mechanism in which heat is transmitted without any physical contact between objects. The energy that is being transmitted through electromagnetic waves is called as radiant energy. In common, hot objects generally emit thermal energy to cooler surroundings. Changes on the surface of an object can be noticed during the occurrence of the process radiation. Thank you.